Testing.
There we go.
I'd like to bring the April 8th, 2015 Planning and Zoning meeting to order. Would everybody please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Commissioner Abbott,
Present.
Commissioner Selberg. Here. Commissioner Buck,
Here.
Commissioner Azarmi.
Here.
Commissioner Walker,
Here.
Commissioner Jones,
Here.
Commissioner Gabrielson, Commissioner Gordon,
Here.
and Chairman Fluchet.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
All right, let's do this first. Couple of announcements. Anyone who has not yet signed in, please do so at the table located in the lobby. Should anyone wish to speak, please complete the request to speak form which is also located in the lobby table next to the sign-in sheet. A request to speak form must be completed for each item, including sub-items. Please note that there are stairs on the right, left, and center aisle, and we ask that you use caution when using these stairs. There's also a ramp located at the audience's left. If anyone has written comments, exhibits, petitions, photos, or letters they intend to present at today's meeting, please have 17 copies and give them to the staff member in the back of the auditorium. She has her hand up. If you do not have 17 copies, you may use the table with the overhead camera next to the podium to present your documents. If you want your documents to go on record, you must hand them to the clerk after your presentation with the agenda item clearly marked on the document. Members of the public cannot speak to staff members that are sitting in the front table with microphones during the meeting. If you have any questions, please see the staff member located in the back of the auditorium, and she can meet you in the lobby. A timer will be activated, and all speakers will be limited to 2 minutes to make their presentations and statements. Everyone, please turn off your cell phones and pagers or place them on vibrate during the meeting. If you must receive a phone call, please leave the meeting area and go outside to have your conversation. We also ask the audience to refrain from talking with one another during the presentations and discussion. Today, the Planning and Zoning Commission will hear public testimony and then forward the recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. The items with the recommendation made by the Commission will be heard by the Board of Supervisors Monday, May 4th, 2015 at 9:30 a.m. in the same location with the exception of any continued items. Everyone attending the meeting is asked to remember that the administrative building and the campus are tobacco-free areas, which means no smoking is allowed curb to curb. Also, only bottled water is allowed in the auditorium. No food, soda, coffee, etc. is allowed. If there are any items remaining on the agenda, the Commission will break for lunch at 1 p.m. Item number 2 is being continued. It's withdrawn by the applicant. Election of chairman and vice chairman.
I nominate Carl Fluchet as the chairman.
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Vice chairman.
I nominate Manny Azami as vice chairman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
By lunch, right?
You buying lunch? God,
Have a
Eddie, you're
speech?
such a generous guy.
You have a speech?
Acceptance speech, perhaps?
Item number 1.
Moving the agenda.
Moving right along.
You got enough room here.
Excuse me, Chairman, we need to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Oh, did I forget something? Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from last month's meeting?
Enough room.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Selberg, second by Commissioner Walker. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Now, item number 1.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, item number 1 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor parcel number 402-63234 from a general commercial zone to a residential recreation zone to allow for a travel trailer as a residential use in the Arizona Strip. One of the issues that we ran across with this particular item is that it appeared from the aerial photos that there was a manufactured home on the property. The owner claimed that the property was vacant. Staff conducted a site visit. There was actually a travel trailer on the property when we visited. Staff recommends approval of this request, subject to the standard conditions.
Is the applicant present? The applicant is not present. We have no speakers on the item. Is there any discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Question?
Question, go ahead.
The picture that we have here, that's on the screen now, of that structure that the arrow appears to, just below where the arrow is on the property, that's the travel trailer that's on there now?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Commissioner Buck, I do not think so. I think that is a manufactured home that has since been removed.
It seems to be, if you look to the left of that picture, the manufactured homes that are to the left appear to be of equal size. Therefore, I was questioning, I think I agree with you that it's not.
Mr. Buck, that particular unit was not on the site when staff conducted the site visit.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure, inspecting whoever did the inspection, the travel trailer they're proposing, we don't know the size of the structure. Do we care the size of the structure? From a planning and zoning perspective?
Yeah, Mr. Buck, I was the one that conducted the site visit, and the travel trailer was probably your standard 10-foot width and maybe 30 feet long.
And in the process of doing this, with all the residential lots across Arizona Avenue, were those people asked in any way, posted zoning notices, or will they be, if they had a problem with a travel trailer being a residence across from their subdivision?
Mr. Buck, members of the commission, those individuals would have been sent letters, first-class letters, informing them of the rezone. The property was also posted, and the posters were on site when I visited.
I'm really concerned about travel trailers. As you know, I've spent 25 years fighting the use of travel trailers as residences. When you send out notification of a rezoning, is it the technical notification that it's being rezoned, but not necessarily saying that a travel trailer 10 by whatever is going to become a residence as a result of this? Do people know that when they get that notice? Do you know?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Buck, the notice states that the property is being rezoned. What is included in the letter is pretty much the blurb that you see on the top of your staff report.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a little bit along the same line question, and some of it was answered. Do we have a minimum requirement? What is our requirements you're asking us to approve a travel trailer here as a residential use, or to make a recommendation? Is there a size that has to be to allow it to be for residential use?
Mr. Ebbett, members of the commission, the zoning ordinance does not contain a minimum size for the unit.
Okay. Thank you. Seems like we should.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
It seems that they're changing the zoning from C2 to RE. So, it's one application to another. So I don't know if the area was designed to have a C2, but definitely it is, in my opinion, not compatible to C2. I don't believe any C2 is going to go there. So that's something that we should consider.
Any additional questions or comments? I didn't read all the way through here on this. Do they already have their septic tank and everything on this property?
Mr. Fluchet, members of the commission, the septic tank will be addressed at the time that they obtain a permit for the travel trailer placement. They do still need a permit for that. At that point in time, we will verify the location and also the age of the septic tank.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can I ask staff, what is the other zoning in the immediate vicinity? Is there other RE or is it all C2 along that side of the road or other residential uses?
Residential.
Mr. Gordon, members of the commission, on the west side of Arizona Avenue, the zoning is agriculture residential. On the east side of Arizona Avenue, the zoning is C2. The reason that, probably the most likely reason for shying away for agriculture residential for this particular lot is that it doesn't meet the minimum 1 acre lot size.
Mr. Chairman. Chris, so the property to the east of the application is residential, right? Or at least in the picture, or is it C2?
Mr. Ozami, members of the commission, the property to the east of the property in question is C2.
So there's a business out there right now?
Mr. Ozami, I am not aware of a business in that area right now. It's primarily residential. Neither Arizona Avenue nor Desert Road are, they're relatively small rural roads at this point.
I mean, just from the look of it, it seems like it's a residential with a detached garage and like a carport. Is that how everybody sees it?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm thinking that it seems like even if it's zoned that way, it seems like it's residential. And you're saying that the west properties are AR? I mean, all those houses that we have in there, they're not R1 or anything like that?
No, Mr. Arzami, those are agriculture residential.
Interesting. Any additional questions, comments?
I don't see what a travel trailer does to enhance the property values in that area.
Well, I have a comment. I drive around, I see things today that from a travel trailer there out in the Butler area, and I'm not condemning anything, but from there, there's just a lot of things that has happened. Are we opening up something here for similar type things to happen in the future? That was my concern when I looked at this. I like to help people, you know, if they need to get something rezoned for people to live in, but that's my concern.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I did talk to the applicant, Mr. Davies. He is in Idaho today. He has asked that if the commission has serious concerns about this proposal, that you continue it for 30 days so he can travel to Kingman to address your concerns.
Chris, properties on the east side, you said, I mean, obviously they're using it for residential, and you're saying they're on septic tank right now, or they're on sewer?
So
I mean,
have to be septic.
it's less than an acre, right?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Azarmi, members of the commission, as far as I know, they're on septic.
Septic, but it was grandfathered in a way in the past. And this particular property cannot become a residential because it's less than 1 acre, right?
Mr. Azarmi, it can become residential. It can't become agricultural residential because it doesn't meet the minimum lot size. As far as the septic tank is concerned, it is possible to place a septic tank on that property. the site investigation, et cetera, will determine whether or not it can be a conventional tank or if it has to be an alternative system.
Okay, so it is more than an acre?
No, sir, it's less than an
But I
acre.
thought that the ordinance we have is that they have to have a minimum 1 acre.
Mr. Azami, members of the commission, I believe that's the land division regulation, so if you're creating a property,
So the
For which-
existing one, they can, based on the perk test, they can have like a septic tank?
it's possible that they can. The percolation test or the site investigation will actually determine if they can use a conventional tank or they have to move to one of the alternative methods.
In that case, my recommendation is that not to go to, zoning like that, go to, R1. I think it's more compatible to the neighboring properties, the way I look at it. But I mean, if you want to table it for 30 days, so the applicant will be
I'd
able
like
to
do
come.
I think that's what we should
I'd like
do.
to do that,
Okay.
Think so?
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
I move,
I'll make a motion.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, you had this closed discussion.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I move we table this for 30 days.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Jones and a second by Commissioner Buck. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Item number 2.
3.
3.
Item number 3 is an evaluation of a request for a zoning use permit on assessor's parcel number 30608-056 for an off-premise sign in a C2H general commercial highway frontage zone in the Golden Valley vicinity. Staff recommends approval, subject to conditions.
Is the applicant present? Applicant is not present. We have no speakers on the item. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
It looks like it's a 12 by 25-foot sign that's being proposed. Are there other signs in the general vicinity within 5 lots? Does anyone know?
Well, the picture shows a couple of them. But they're not-
It's more of a real estate sign,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought. I didn't see any 12 by 25-foot signs.
I don't either.
Yep.
I think ADOT makes you be, what, 600 feet away on?
500.
500? I don't
Yeah.
think there would be anything that close.
ADOT wouldn't allow them to
Yeah.
put it there.
They should have-
I'll tell you, from the one picture that shows the gas station and the real estate sign and the street sign and yes, that sign there, that is so beautiful. To put a 12 by 25-foot blob in the middle of that just absolutely makes me cringe. Anyway, it doesn't look like it's compatible to me. That's my thought on it. If you destroy, yes, it's probably very functional from a sign perspective, but doesn't appear to be any other signs. And if I was a sign person trying to sell this, I would show every other sign in the area and say, hey, it's just one more. But to take this beautiful setting and put that glob in there, I'm opposed to that. It doesn't sit well, but that's just my 2 cents.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I will point out that along 68, as it runs through Golden Valley, has been historically a sign-free area. The commission and the board, or excuse me, the Board of Supervisors removed that restriction a couple months ago.
We voted for it.
So there will not be a lot of, most of the signs you'll see in the area right now are going to be on-premise signs that advertise a good or a service that's available on the site where the sign is located. This particular request is for an off-premise signs. There right now are probably just a handful of off-premise signs in Golden Valley that exist. The board has approved a couple of more locations, maybe another 4 or 5 for signs, and then this is another one that's coming through.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Problem is that, this is compatible, the application is compatible with our land use ordinance. It's within the guideline of the land use ordinance. And it's been done before. Is that correct, Chris?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Azarmi, members of the commission, this request is consistent with the land use regulations, otherwise staff would have had a different statement for you. And yes, there have been other signs along, off-premise signs along 68 that have been approved. I believe that most of them have not been constructed as of yet.
Mr. Chairman, I would just had a question for staff. They would also have to get a permit from ADOT, correct?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so they have some restrictions as well. Would this comply with the ADOT requirements as far as you know as well?
Mr. Selberg, members of the commission, the department does not analyze signs for compliance with ADOT's requirements. In application of all rules and regulations, there is a certain amount of interpretation that must be done, and we believe that that interpretation is best left to ADOT.
Right.
So we will let ADOT make that determination. Suffices to say that in order to erect this sign, it does have to comply with our rules and ADOT's rules.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
I move we accept per staff's recommendation.
Second.
Well, a motion by Mr. Buck and a second by Mr.
He's opposing it.
Didn't have a motion
I'm
from me.
sorry, Mr. Jones.
I'm Steve Buck, that's,
I know,
where's your cheat sheet?
I know. It's right here, and I didn't look at it. We have a motion by Mr. Jones and a second by Mr. Selberg. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
I am opposed.
Okay, Mr. Buck is opposed. Item number 4.
Thank you. Chair Fluchet, members of the commission, good morning. Item number 4 is an evaluation of amendment to the Mojave County General Plan. And they're requesting an amendment to change the land use designation from light industrial to commercial recreation. The request is proposed by Randy Lyles of Kingman, Arizona, and the request in this a Nitro Mist Center. And the request summarizes is that it's going to be a charity-based facility that comprises for artists, presentations, theaters, as well as a raceway, a charity base for commercial vehicle racing testing facility. It is going to be built on a 67-acre parcel that fronts I-40 in Yucca. And the surrounding land uses for the subject parcel consists of light industrial to the north and to the west, and suburban estates to the south and east. The property is currently vacant and consists of 2 existing single-family homes that are to the east of the property. The property is mostly desert terrain and kind of rolling hills, somewhat flat. We also have received a letter, which has been attached for the commission, from the Hargle Properties, and they do express some concerns over this land use general plan amendment recommendation. We've reviewed everything. We've gone out to the site, included pictures for the commission, and we do feel that the project is in compliance with the current general plan, and staff has recommended approval.
Is the applicant present? Okay, the applicant is present. We have a couple speakers on it. Mark Ziska? Did you want to speak?
I actually would like to.
No, you need to come up to the microphone, sir. Thank you.
State your name.
State your name.
My name is Mark Ziska. I own several properties adjoining this property. I am not necessarily against or for this until I see exactly what's going to happen. I own actually the only stick-built home adjoining this property. I own control 6 properties that adjoin, and actually my properties alone represent 20% of the surrounding properties. I would like to see their plan. I would like to see what's going to happen. I'd like to see, do they have a presentation today to show Or is this just, we'd like to do this sometime and we'll come up with something? I'd like to see some hard visuals, I guess, to understand what we're going to be having. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Okay, any questions of the speaker?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
have you received or read the, the application narrative?
Yes, I've seen it and read it.
But you have more questions?
It's pretty standard. I haven't seen exactly and precisely what are the plans for Indio Road. I see, it was interesting, you had a picture of the sign that said Indio.
Right.
That sign belongs to me because the county wouldn't put a sign up, because the road is a rural road. And I'm interested in what is going to be done with the interchange on Santa Fe Ranch Road, what's going to be done to improve the
You're fine.
what's going to be done to improve the frontage road, which is, if any of you have ever driven that road, is a roller coaster. To put in a lot of traffic into that area, I'd just like to see some type of site plan before I would be really happy with the program.
Thank you.
That's pretty much all I have to say. I mean, if it looked nice, I'm all for progress, so. But I'd like to see something first.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Have you ever, do you live in the only stick-built home?
Pardon me?
You live in the stick-built home that,
Yes.
okay. Has freeway noise ever been an issue for you?
We're about a half a mile from the freeway. Actually, we can hear the train whistle out on 3 miles out. Way better than, the freeway is a non-issue. The truck, you can hear the flats going down the road, and we always look at each other and laugh. But it depends on the wind. It's the desert. I mean, there's folks that live 6-8 miles out that can hear that train whistle when the wind's blowing right. The desert is an interesting soundboard. And, you can hear, I can hear my neighbor, Mr. Tennyson, who is about a half a mile away, if he yells for his dog, I can hear him yell. I mean, he's a half a mile away, and, or quarter mile. But still, the sound is different, depends on which way the wind is blowing that particular day.
And when you access your property, do you come in on Santa Fe Ranch Road and take Indio down, frontage to Indio, or do you take Kickapoo?
No, we don't connect to Kickapoo at all.
Okay.
All of our properties are on Indio and a road that's called Mojave, that's kind of a vague, maybe there type road. It's a platted road that doesn't exist, technically.
Okay, I maintain Santa Fe Ranch Road and Kickapoo as part of Santa Fe Ranch Trails. I manage the association there and the roadways, so I'm a little more familiar with it than some. My concern, I'm also a drag racer, so some of the concern is if the frontage road is a roller coaster, as you indicate, most racers will look for a smoother transition rather than throwing their cars around on their trailer. So of that concern, I'm saying is the alternate route to come, if you don't use the frontage road, and perhaps I need to ask the applicant, but from your perspective, would they be using Kickapoo?
The option, if they used Kickapoo, they would have to come down the pipeline, and I don't think that's going to happen. The pipeline is private.
Right.
So that ain't going to happen. There is another road that kind of exists on the platting, but none of these roads are here. But the only way really to get in that property is on the frontage road, and you're looking at 2 major culverts to get that flat. Because when we get monsoon, you don't go down the frontage road.
No, thank you.
So.
Thank you. Any additional questions of the speaker? Thank you very much. Bruce Tennant?
Bruce Tennant. I noticed you had pictures of the vacant land there, which we've all been looking at for a lot of years. It looks real pretty. In fact, that sign right there, I could probably touch it from my front door. I'm surprised you don't have any pictures of our homes that are so close to the racetrack. Did anybody take a picture? I moved out there to get out of Lake Havasu. Tired of all the traffic and noise. And as I kept hitting a brick wall, over the years, I've learned to find out why something's not going my way. instead of butting my head right through it, I started exploring here and found out there was a racetrack going across the street, or they want to propose a racetrack. So, like Mark, my neighbor, said, that the only way in is frontage road. They won't be using Indio to go out the other end. The road don't exist. And during monsoon season, there's no way in and out. So is there alternative road? Are you guys planning on putting other exits? You know, like Mark said, the pictures are real pretty. We've been looking at them for a lot of years. Do they have a plan of what the track's supposed to look like? Are they going to put buildings up? Where are the buildings going to be? Is there going to be any privacy walls? Is there going to be 20-foot privacy walls down Indio Road? You know, you really have us in a spot here. We really can't make a decision on anything because we don't know what they're doing. I mean, we could say, oh yeah, we love this, go for it, and then they put 30-foot buildings up or something. You know, what do we got? There's nothing here, so that's all out of me.
Mr. Chairman,
I got to see more.
I recommend the applicant to come out
Yeah, I'm going to.
forward and, explain more.
I'm going to.
Thank you.
Any questions of the speaker?
Thanks.
Okay, could I have the applicant come forward, please?
My name is Randy Lyles. I'm the applicant for this project.
We've got a few questions for you. Do you have a site plan already
We
together?
have a basic site plan, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, is that the
Go
one
ahead.
that was submitted and we
Yes.
have it in our
Yes, sir.
package?
It is.
So it's basically a conceptual design at this time. You don't have the details in terms of...
We have not had the plans engineered yet, but this is the plan that we want to go forward with.
Okay, and you heard the concerns of the neighbors that you have out there. Could you elaborate on, what your plans are? How are you going to, I assume that there would be some noise factor. I read your statement there that you said that you have some walls that you're going to be constructing. Is this just a conceptual design, or are you planning to proceed and build this
We are
racetrack?
planning to proceed and build
So
this.
the financing is in place, the investors you have, or whoever is going to be there? And
Yes.
could you also elaborate on the, what your anticipation is from the races? Is that going to be local, or is that going to be statewide? Is that going to be national? What exactly is the caliber of the racetrack that you are planning to do?
Yes, I can give you all those answers specifically. My partner and I have discussed this at great length. We are not professionals. There will be no professional venues, such has been suggested by other racetracks, specifically the one in Lake Havasu. They're the people that can do their NHRA and all that aspects concerned with that type of racing. Since we are going to be charity-based, we are going to not have a lot of traffic and a lot of people. Probably, most likely, our plan right now is to have no more than 10 people at the track on any given day, along with our safety personnel. But there's several venues that I might mention that will take place. For one, I've been approached by a TV producer to do a racing program. So we may have, one big rig from that company come out there and do some filming, but this isn't something that's going to happen every day and constantly. The track is going to be minimal use for minimal amount of people. And again, my concept is all based on charity. In the past businesses that I've owned, I've worked with many foundations, and I got away from it for a long time, and I'm ready to get back into it under these businesses. The entertainment club will also be minimal. Probably will never have more than 25 people there at one time. I plan to only operate it 3 times a week, maximum. We're not looking to make this a full-time commercial door rattling situation. In terms of sound and noise, we don't anticipate that it'll be any louder than the freeway. We are planning 2 processes for that. One, at least a 10-foot fence that will be sound deadening, And my partner, who is an engineer in the computer chip industry, has designed some very technical devices that are called sound canceling apparatus. So what happens is any sound that's made is canceled out by these devices. So again, we've done studies on this, and it's quite easily to make race cars no louder than the freeway, and also in conjunction with that, there will probably be very few actual race cars. My racing series is based on the cars that you drive to get your groceries, and maybe some modified cars. But the point being that they all use mufflers. So we're not anticipating having any full-blown race cars, and if they are there, on some instances, maybe for presentation of some type, it might last 2 or 3 minutes. Even in a drag race, you have cars that they run for 10, 15, 30 seconds maximum from the time they start their engine to the time they get to the end. And of course, it's an 1/8-mile drag strip, so we're only talking 660 feet, which means that the sound would be minimal for an extremely short period of time, way less than a big rig coming down the road from one end to the other of the site. That would make actually more noise that we will have on our facility.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Well, with what you explained, you mentioned in your narrative that the racing aspect of the facility will consist of a guest lounge building, restrooms, and restaurant, and parking area. So the restaurant, so for this, limited application that you have, so you have a master plan to expand the project?
No, I'm sorry, it says restaurant?
Right.
I missed that. The entertainment club is going to be a theater play, not a restaurant.
Okay. And then the other thing, in terms of the paving, is that going to be, what kind of paving you're going to use? Is that going to be hard surface, asphalt, or?
It'll be asphalt of course, higher grade than
Right.
what's used on a highway, but it's still asphalt.
Okay.
It's not anything unusual.
But you're not going to have any provision for any dirt race track or
No,
anything
sir.
like that? So it's
No,
going to
not
create
at all.
dust?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm not an advocate of dirt racing.
Thank you.
So it consists of the drag strip, the 1/8 mile, which is 660 feet, and then the oval track, which is be 7/8 to 1 mile in length with a road course in it.
What is your estimated total investment in this project?
Our investment,
Total?
is this something that I'm required to
No, I mean,
discuss in
just
public?
Well, I just want to make sure that, is it like a minimum that you're going to be putting in there? Is it, for everybody to know? Because the property owners around you, they need to know if their properties are going to be enhanced by this project or is it going to be devalued? So in a way, what you do out there is going to directly impact the neighboring properties.
That's true, but if I may say that it can go in both directions. One person's point of view can say that it'll devalue it, and another person's point of view will say, yes, it's going to enhance the value. You may or may not be aware of this, but I am the developer and builder of a racetrack called Competition Ridge, which is 20 miles from this property that I built here in Mojave County. It's actually a private residential subdivision with a racetrack. It has 19 5-acre lots. The people that are around me at that location, every one of them bought property there because of the racetrack.
Sure.
Because they thought, they envisioned at that time that it would enhance their property values, which it did until 2007. As we know, the market dropped, and that project of mine is finished, but it's sitting there waiting for the economy to become better. To answer your question specifically, I believe that it'll enhance their properties, and we are actually entertaining the idea and have been in some discussions with the two gentlemen that own the homes for us to buy their property at a fair market value. We're not looking to we're not doing this to devalue anything. We're looking to provide jobs, provide money for some charity foundations. My daughter has a dream of, and has proceeded slightly on doing a homeless children's foundation in Phoenix. And it is my calling to do such foundations as well under my own name, and to help her, as well as I've been deeply involved with the Make-A-Wish Foundation in past years. So I believe that it will enhance the property and it will enhance the area with a minimal amount of disruption.
Mr. Lyles, I noticed you mentioned the Nitro Mist Performance Center.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if how large this is going to be. Is this going to be like a Coachella thing that started out with 2,000 people coming and ended up with 160,000 people coming?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I came from the Coachella Valley, and they had a small performance center there that they started, and they had a couple thousand people come out to see it for over a couple-day thing, and now it's 250,000 people coming. And I was just wondering what type of performance center you're going to have there.
Well, no, that's the title of the entire facility.
Okay.
The entertainment center is going to be about a 2,000 square foot building that we will present. I'm basically doing that for aspiring artists.
Okay.
For people to come and do comedy, music, anything. Actually, I want to have a small art gallery there as well.
Okay.
So that that can be the beginning to branch out into the entertainment industry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm trying to get my arms around the concept, and you're commenting that it's not NHRA-type events, and
Correct.
it's not like Lake Havasu with the drag strip that
Correct.
they're proposing. And you'll have, one statement was 10 people on the property, then you might have 25 people, and then you're going to have a 2,000 square foot entertainment facility. So trying to put this all in perspective, if Make-A-Wish, my awareness is that a child has a dream to run on a drag racer, they get him on the track, they film him, he runs the track, and that's the charitable event, per se.
Correct.
My
But I
other
also-
part of my life is I've raised funds in charitable organizations with $500,000 bike-a-thons.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say charitable events, is it 10 people that, like in a Make-A-Wish where he gets to ride in the dragster? Is it a fundraising event where people come and they watch aspiring entertainers? Or, you see what I'm saying? It's a little bit vague.
I do. Let me make it more clear. The entertainment center, which I will own, I am going to give 50% of the proceeds that, from the 25 people that go there 3 nights a week to charity. If, and it's a big if, but I have been given the go-ahead on the TV series, which is going to be 12 participants and 12 sponsors that will be filmed for this TV program. And 50% of those proceeds are going to go to charitable foundations. I don't require a lot to live on anymore. I don't want a lot to live on. I have 2 cars, I can drive only one at a time. I'm not a collector. I just feel that anything that I can do from here until my end of days is to give to other people. I've been involved in the hospice organization all my life, and I'm healthy, and I'm happy with my life, and I'm also a writer. I have some books that are doing fairly well, and I'm going to present some of the plays that I've written at the Entertainment Theater, and anything that I make from here on out is enough to live on. The rest of it is going to charity.
Following up on Mr. Hardy's concerns, and again, from my perspective, I'm aware of your facility 20 miles away. I've never had an issue with a big rig coming down Butch Cassidy,
Correct.
Accessing your property.
Correct.
And Mr. Hardy's concerned about the possibility of a big rig being involved with this facility. Access, as the other gentleman said, most likely is through the frontage road. So they come off the freeway, and immediately on the frontage road, it's like 50 feet from the freeway, run straight down in parallel with the freeway to your facility. Is that the path you're talking about?
Most likely. I appreciate their comment about the drainage there, and that's very true. We don't race in the rain.
Right.
So it won't be an issue. Nobody will be coming to the track when it is raining and there is a drainage problem. And again, if we ever, we might have 10 big rigs a year, maybe. I even doubt that, because we're not presenting this to the professionals. This is strictly for guys like me that don't have a lot of money, but we like to go fast and have gone in the past. I built race cars for 25 years and sent my products and cars all over the world. I was an amateur driver, but we do not want to have, and my other track, Competition Ridge, was of the same thought, nothing professional.
On the idea of sound deadening, I'm familiar with the problem at Irwindale Raceway in California, where they had
familiar with that.
open headers as a standard operation.
Yes.
And they started mufflerizing and demanding mufflers and attendance and participation took a dramatic drop. Back to the deadening, though, I can see a 10-foot wall. If you completely surround 67 acres with a 10-foot wall, it's going to be ugly. If you have sound deadening equipment, are you taking it around the track, the 8th mile track, as well as the course? Would that be your 10-foot perimeter?
That's correct.
10-foot wall around the perimeter of the racing facility, but not the entire 67 acres, correct?
No, our thoughts at this point is around the entire facility. And it'll, it will be aesthetically correct.
I would
In other
prefer
words,
to use the word pleasing.
it'll
but
blend with the desert. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I would have appreciated the word appreciate the area, not just make it aesthetically pleasing as opposed to aesthetically functional. So that would be a concern to the neighboring property owners with a 10-foot wall. Similar to like a jail facility. It's so private and well protected. I'm not sure that enhances it, but that's just my 2 cents. I'd rather see it around the noise comes off the 660 foot as well as the 8th mile or 3/8 of a mile track. But good luck. That's all, sir.
Any additional questions of the speaker?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Is it possible the two gentlemen that they came to see if they were answered the concern that they had?
Yeah, we can do that. Mr. Bennett and Mr., did he answer some of your questions?
Bruce Tennant again. A couple of the questions, he's going to put a racetrack up there. Now, a 10-foot wall down Indio Road would block all my beautiful mountains and everything I get to enjoy now. And he did say that he's going to offer fair, reasonable price of our properties. Yeah, because neither one of us want to live by a racetrack, so the best bet would be to buy the whole damn desert. But I'm an investor too, and this is a multi-million-dollar operation here. And if he's only going to have 10, 15, 20 people a week, there's no way. And then he's going to get 50% of the profit away. I ain't not invested in that. There ain't no profit there for me. I mean, come on. It'd take me 75.
Well, that's his problem.
It is, but
It's not a problem.
BS. I mean,
I know.
I've already got over $100,000 of my property now with my driveway. I got my basement dug. I'm ready to build my home. And I'm upset about this because it was my dream. I retired next year and I wanted my home done. The basement's already dug. I'm ready to build, and now I got a racetrack across the street, so now I'm in limbo. I can't build. So I'm just landlocked, and all I got is a picture of a damn desert I've been looking at for 15 years. I don't know where he's gonna put the entrances going into this racetrack. They're not gonna run on rainy days. Okay, give me a break. Is my road gonna be paved now? Is my road gonna be a turnaround for all the people who realize they can't go down Indio Road? There's so many questions here that ain't answered.
Well, a lot of these questions will probably be answered as time goes along, but this,
After it's been okayed. and-
well, this is just the first phase of okays. There's a lot more that have got to be done before he can actually start moving dirt and,
Okay, well, that's how much more longer I get to wait with my house and my hole out in the
Yeah.
desert. This is horrible, so.
okay,
Anyhow, thank you.
thank you. Any additional questions of the speaker? Thank you very much, Randy.
You're welcome.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, it seems that my recommendation is that, for the applicant to provide more solid information about the project in terms of what kind of wall, and the gentleman mentioned that his partner is an engineer and he's the one who designed, some of the things that, the neighboring properties were concerned about. So if they would propose what material they're going to be using, what kind of more data to provide, I think maybe that would make it, easier for neighboring properties and also for the commission and eventually for the Board of Supervisors to make a better solid decision. That's my recommendation.
My comments is that we're here for land use only, right? That's our job,
Right.
Yeah.
not about all the other things, peripheral things. So to me, it's a land use.
That's what it is.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for
Yes.
planning and zoning.
Yes.
I'm looking at a picture here of the information we got. The Nitro Miss Raceway, Highway 40 running through there, the raceway just to the right of that. And then behind that, several, I guess a few hundred, it would amount to, blocks of property that's been split up. What is the zoning on that property behind that raceway?
Industrial.
South and east,
Pardon?
south and east of the,
Well, it's-
Probably AR.
It's a state.
Well, just
Residential.
Commissioner Abbott, give me 1 second. As we said, this is for the general plan land uses. The zoning change will be next. However, the land uses consist of light industrial to the north and west and suburban estates to the south and east.
No, back to the picture I've got here in front of me. There's all these shows little, but I'm sure they must be 5 acres or so. How are they zoned?
Suburban estates.
Suburban estates, residential.
That's the general plan land use designation, correct.
What are the size of those? Because they look like are all the same.
1.15.
Yeah.
Pardon?
1.15 acres each.
So it seems to me the intent was, there's going to be homes put on there. There's going to be homes like these gentlemen are talking about. I wouldn't want to be the developer trying to sell those with a racetrack in there. So that answers my question. And the other question I have, would a 10-foot high fence be acceptable to planning and zoning around this?
The 10-foot high fence would be addressed during the site plan review process. Here again today, as we bring this forward, the Planning and Zoning Commission, this is the land use. The question to the commission today is, do they support changing the land use designation from light industrial to commercial recreation? And this is going to be a long process. The next the application that following this agenda will be the zone change, because they are also requesting the zone change. And then once they secure those approvals, then they're going to have a lot of additional work through working with the zoning department, as well as submitting plans that will go on to engineering, flood control, and other areas.
I understand that, Mr. Barton, but the zoning change, if and when it was approved, is going to affect these concerns that I have around it, these acre lots that were sold to people that want to build their dream home on. 10-foot fence, that's going to be affected down the road. And the permits that I've known of to get 10-foot high fences around property is not usually too acceptable. So that was my question, is 10-foot high fences acceptable if all this other stuff gets done?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Abbott, you're correct that the zoning around this to the south and to the east is AR, which indicates 1 acre lots. The other concerning the fence, the department will review the fence basically for soundness. We do not have a set of criteria to review for aesthetic issues. So in all likelihood, the fence would need to be engineered, given its height. But once the plan reviewer is satisfied that the fence will stand, given wind loads, et cetera, it would be approved. And now whether or not that's acceptable would be, I'm assuming you mean aesthetically, that the neighbors are going to find it pleasant to look at. That's something for which we don't have criteria to review too.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Chris, the GIS map does not show, if there, how many homes are out there. Do we know how many existing homes are out there in that?
Mr. Chairman, I believe the staff, and Mr. Chairman, Mr. Azami, members of the commission, I believe that the staff would describe it to you as scattered residences or sparsely populated.
Okay. And, Mr. Chairman, to answer Commissioner Jones, we do have in the land use ordinance that the application should be compatible to the neighboring properties. So that's the part that, by evaluating what we are doing, we are basically
Yeah,
examining.
but it's already zoned light industrial.
Well, no. Do you have, part is light industrial and the other part is suburban residential?
Right, I'm just saying, though, that part of what he's talking about, what he wants to change the zoning from is light industrial, and just imagine what kind of uses can go on there versus commercial recreation. That's all I'm saying.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yes, staff, I know I'm looking ahead here, but we're talking about a land use designation from light industrial to commercial recreation. But in the next item, the underlying zoning currently is not light industrial, it's agricultural, residential, 10-acre minimum lot size. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Gordon, members of the commission, that's correct.
So we have a zoning, an underlying zoning that's not compatible currently with the existing land use designation?
That's correct, and that's not unusual. I mean,
Right.
Your zoning's kind of at the moment.
Right. I just want.
And your general plan has a 20-year horizon.
Right, okay. So I just want to make that point, because obviously the underlying zoning being residential, these properties were under the expectation or knew that that property wasn't light industrial, it was actually
Okay.
zoned for residential.
Correct.
Good. What else, what does everybody think?
I like it from
Want some more
anticipated.
information?
Anticipated use. I've got some issues with what people, when they buy property and then all of a sudden, what they bought the property under, the facts they bought the property under change significantly, then I think it's our job to look out for that interest. And as much as I love drag racing, I know. It just hurts. But that's my concern, is that we're taking all the people in the surrounding areas, south and east, and changing their investment perspective, and I'm very cautious about that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's, when you look at the underlying zoning, that's a big change from a residential zone to this proposed use, so I think it's a concern, big concern.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we accept per staff recommendation.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Mr. Jones, a second by Mr. Walker. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign.
No.
Nay. Let's have a roll call.
Commissioner Abbott?
Is an aye for yes or no?
You said
No.
The motion was to approve per recommendation, so if you,
If you say yes, you're for it.
No.
No.
Commissioner Selberg?
No.
Commissioner Buck?
no?
Commissioner Zarmi?
No.
Commissioner Walker?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes?
Commissioner Gordon?
No.
Chairman Flachet?
No.
Mr.
Motion
Chairman?
fails. Yes.
I don't know how legal this is, or you can correct me, but I would put a motion out that we continue this for more information.
How long do you want to continue this, and what kind of information do we want to get back?
I really don't know.
I would,
The residents.
I don't want to just turn the man down. I think, I like what he says of things he's trying to do.
yeah, and I would add I don't know if there was, but I would like to see a public meeting to where they could try and address the public's concerns. And maybe I'm sure there is a way, there always is usually, to find a way to make it compatible or to make it work. I don't think that's been done or been addressed in any way or so far. You know, a 10-foot wall is a big deal. There might be other ways to do it. So I would be open to something like that if there was some public input and discussion and then something brought back to us if there was a solution found.
Okay. Can we do that, Chris?
Yes, Bob.
Mr. Chairman, the commission can do that.
Thank you.
Well, I would make a motion to continue it for more information to be brought back to us within 60 days.
I
And,
second that.
okay.
With an amendment that
Yeah.
the two gentlemen be part of that process.
Yeah, we need to revisit this motion just for a second. Whether or not we're going to have a citizen participation meeting, which they can get done in 60 days, which means that they notify all the neighboring people, and then we'll see what happens there. But
What time limit do you need? I'll change
I
the
think
motion.
I think we need 90 days.
Yeah, I'll change the motion for 90 days.
Second.
And the amendment,
Okay, Mr. Chairman, can we amend that? I don't know, I want to be politically correct. I don't want the zoning ordinance to say simply AR to RE or PR to DE. I'd like to be specific that someone's proposing a Nitro Mystic performance entertaining drag race park. And if you're interested, show up. And especially those people in the perimeter south and east
Yeah.
subdivisions. Then no one can say you draped it in language which wasn't clear. If we make it crystal clear what the plan is, I think it would help the developer, I think it helps the people who made the investment, and it certainly helps us make a decision.
I believe a lot of those properties are for sale. South and east. I believe a lot of those are for sale, but south and east of that property.
Well, that's
There's 150,000 acres of properties that are
Yeah.
for sale.
lots of it, and no buyers.
Can you ask, Mr. Chairman, you got a motion and a second and an amendment.
Yeah.
As part of the discussion, can you ask the parties, the developer, Randy, and the two individuals, if they have anything to add to that?
Randy, could you come back up? What we're trying to do is we're trying to make this a peaceful resolution with your neighbors. And so what we're thinking about doing is giving you 90 days to comply with a public participation meeting, which means you send out notices to all the neighbors, and you have a meeting and tell everybody with drawings and stuff like that what you're planning to do. And then the results of that meeting would come back to the staff, and then staff would take another look at it.
Okay, well, first of all, I was told by planning and zoning that we were not required to do that. And I was completely willing to do that. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make our neighbors happy. In fact, I've already had a discussion with both of them, as I mentioned, about buying their properties.
Okay.
And I also want to point out that those 1-acre lots, we have sent out notices to all those people to buy their property. And we have bought some already. Because we're not looking, as I said, to make a problem. We're trying to create a new venue for the good of most. So we have two gentlemen, of course, that have concerns, and I understand that. I have no problem with that. If the 10-foot fence is a problem, we'll make it 6 feet, which doesn't require a permit. But in doing so, we will still address the sound issue on the levels that I mentioned. To me, there are only solutions, there are not problems. We address them as they come. One of the reasons that we didn't provide any engineering drawings of the completed facility, because it's my understanding, and I have been a developer, as you know, in Competition Ridge, that this is just the initial process for the changing of the property to do what we want to do. And then we hire the engineer, which we have, Mr. Ray Statler, to put everything specifically in place. I still haven't walked the property to see exactly where we want everything to go. A topo is imperative to do as both the aerial and walking the property before we put pen to paper. So, to say that there isn't any specific information, you're absolutely 100% correct.
So-
But this land use is what the issue is here today.
My point is the 90 days going to put a monkey wrench into what you're thinking about?
No, I'd ask for 30.
Well, 90 days is not enough time to do a public participation meeting.
Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, to send out notices and do notifications, et cetera, of a public meeting, the applicant has in essence 2 weeks of those 30 days because of, the lead time that we need to get information to you, as well as the lead time needed for, putting advertisements in the paper and sending letters out, et cetera. So I cannot speak for the applicant, I can't speak for the department. Then in this situation, we would ask for at least 60 days. But
Okay.
as I said, I am not going to speak for the applicant.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
would this be an official county public meeting, or is this more, I guess what I would anticipate is more a
Local.
local, or put on, facilitated on behalf of the applicant and the neighboring properties, so it would be their responsibility to do
Correct.
the notifications. And that time frame probably can be a lot
And
quicker
they
than
have to
if it
bring
was
all
a...
that, the results of that meeting to Development Services.
Correct, including who was notified and how they were
Right,
notified.
who showed up and
Correct.
all that.
Okay.
So staff says they can do it in 60 days. Do you want to change your motion to 60 days?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Randy, is it possible for you to provide us more information, not, hiring an engineer and go through the expenses, but you said that your partner, I guess, is an engineer and would be able to provide you with the system that you have, some narrative about it, so a little bit more detail-oriented, so we would be able to know, and also the neighboring properties would be able to know. And then you mentioned that you already purchased some of these properties. Is there any way you can also let us know which properties? Is it the boundaries of your property that you have picked up, so that creates a buffer? Or, give us like a little bit more information if you don't mind next time.
Next time or right now?
Well, I don't think that
Next
you have
time.
turned it into the staff
Yeah.
yet. You need to.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I noted on your presentation, the sound levels were noted to the freeway traffic, I think it was 85 decibels.
That's correct.
It would be, especially with your partner being an engineer, I'd find it beneficial to do sound checks around there. Go back to Indy, go back to Kickapoo, and go down south to Navajo Drive, and provide readings from that. I think that's big concern is the noise. And if you've got the facts there as to the freeway makes 85, and it's 46 there, that would be very significant as opposed to 120. So I would find that beneficial.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to also see what sort of options the developer would have on buffering the fence or berming or whatever, so that when he comes back here, he can say, well, I've discussed some options with the neighbors, and we feel that this option is compatible with everybody involved. Because I think the sound and the buffering is, I think, major concern of most everybody.
May I also point out that these 1-acre lots that surround us on the two sides, they were sold in blocks of 4. So it's one person who owns 4 of those blocks, which means we're buying them 4 at a time. And yes, that makes it a 600-foot buffer.
Now, would you have any problem of having a little presentation of what kind of buffer you're proposing so that everybody knows what you're proposing and can be agreeable to that?
Yes. However, I forget the exact amount of letters we sent out. I want to say it was 14 of the owners directly around us. We only got a response from 2 of them. You know, what can I say? They don't, and they haven't responded with letters to the county. Of course, they received, so I can only assume that they don't care.
Yeah. I think that information would be great to bring back with you when you come back to the commission, and you can tell us what your experience was and how the meeting went, so we could make a good decision and try to help you move your project along.
And one other caveat, do it with open header tests, don't do it with muffler tests. I think you're going to cut your participation. And as you know, as a racer, open header is going to get lots, mufflers don't get anything. I think.
Yeah, sir, I have to correct you on that.
All right.
I had 4 dynos. I built engines for 25 years. And I was in the beginning when the first company came out with racing mufflers. Mufflers actually add horsepower. They do not detract from the engine, unless you're talking of something over 1,000 horsepower. But again, we're not looking for that type of person to be at our racetrack. We're
Point well
talking of
taken.
cars of low horsepower value.
Point well taken.
I have no idea what you guys talking about. So,
Okay, so we're at 90 days on our motions. Staff says they can do it in 60 days. Would you
Well,
like
my
to
motion
restate
was within 90 days, so.
Okay.
Does that mean they can come back in 60? I would think so. If they're ready, it can be put back on the agenda. If not, I'll change it to 60. My motion, this was voted down. So I wanted to give the man a chance to do something to make sure that we weren't creating a problem here, like Mr. Gordon said about these residentials around here.
And may I also add that there's been no construction around that area for, God, how many years? I could only guess 10 to 20.
You know, I can relate to what you're saying. I bought property in California City in 1982, you know? So it's just sitting there with hundreds of more like these are. So these people are from all over the country that own this property. So that's my motion, if it's okay, to give him a chance to come back, get with people, and come back with more information as to what those gentlemen's questions are.
Okay, so Peggy, can you read the motion back to us?
No.
I thought
which one?
which one? Yeah.
I will try, please correct me if I'm wrong. The original motion was to continue for more information for 60 days. There was an amendment to change that to 90 days for a public meeting to be held, and then was amended again to 60 days.
No,
No,
it was left at 90.
Yeah.
left at
Up
90
to 90
days.
days.
Strike that last paragraph.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just a couple of questions for clarification for the department. First of all, is it our understanding that the motion is within 90 days? So if Mr. Lyles is able to give us the information that you are seeking in time to put it on in 60 days or
Yes.
30 days, we will do that.
That is correct.
Second, that Mr. Lyles is responsible for the public meeting.
That is
in the
also
department.
correct.
Thank you.
I call for a question.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
You already have
We
it.
have a motion.
A vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, so we got 90 days to get all our, get the stuff together.
I thought you were going to change that to 60.
Up
No.
to, within 90 days.
Within 90 days. So if you get it done in 60 days, you can come back.
Okay. And coordinate that with.
Or get it done in 30 days.
Okay. Right, so I could, if we could manage to do it in 30 days, then
Sure.
we're allowed to.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
This one's kind of mute.
Item number 5.
Does that make
We
this
probably need
mute?
to,
Same.
same
Same.
thing. I need a motion, though.
I move that we move Article 5 to within the same elements of our recommendation on Article 4.
Second?
Within 90 days.
We have a motion by Commissioner Jones and a second by Commissioner Buck. Well, I can't hear. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Called passing the buck.
There you go.
Oh, that's his accent.
Passing the buck. Item number 6.
Item number 6 is an evaluation of a request for a zoning use permit on assessor's parcel numbers 317-45-051C, 317-45-051D, and 317-45-066E for 2 off-premise signs in a C2H general commercial highway frontage zone in the White Hills vicinity. Staff recommends approval, subject to conditions.
Is the applicant present? Yes. Would you like to address the commission?
Hi, Michael Rhodes, owner of White Hills Texaco, Big Slick Stop LLC. What I'm proposing is to put a billboard on the northmost end of the property and the south end of the property where it fits its regulations.
Okay, any questions of the speaker? Apparently not. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, hold it.
Yeah.
Noted that you're not in the fire district, but Yucca Fire Station is within a mile. No, the Yucca's further down. You have no fire service then anywhere around there, do you?
No, we don't have any fire stations near us. I've been active in participating for a fundraiser for a fire station, but Mr. Buck, does that apply to billboards?
Well, I'm just curious from gas station perspective at Dolan Springs. I just made a note here that you're not in the district, and I was curious if Dolan Springs would be reaching out to service you, just a point of interest.
For fires, yes. And we also have a lot of measures to take place in case of fires, because we are a gas station and we do have the kind of hazard of a fire. So I, as the owner, have made sure to spend, well, the amount is actually $2,500 for spill and fire plans to make sure that we're safe and we have all the measures for a fire. All the employees are trained by myself to deactivate all pumps in the event of a fire.
And thank you for making that operational. That's a welcome sight. I've been traveling that area for 20 years.
Thank you.
And it's welcome. I know your battles with the prior owners went through, and you stepped up, and I think that's awesome.
Thank you very much.
And with that, make a motion.
With that, I'd like to make a motion.
Well, I think you go right ahead.
I second.
My name's Steve Buck, by the way.
What's your name again?
Pass.
We have a motion by Commissioner Buck and a second by Commissioner Azami. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 7.
Yes, Chair Fluchet, members of the commission. Item number 7 is the 2015 General Plan Review. This is the monthly update we're giving to the Planning and Zoning Commission. A couple of things that staff would like to just bring to the commission's attention. Since the March 11th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, the committee did hold their last committee workshop, which was on March 17th. We really didn't have a lot of citizens come to that meeting, and just a little bit of discussion, and not too many comments were received. In addition, on the website, staff has not received any additional comments since the March 17th workshop. And so thus, at the end of today's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, the general plan review, though, is what we're going to have to Let me backtrack. At the meeting on March 17th, we did not have a quorum, and because of that, we have to still approve the minutes. So after we're done with the couple things we'll talk about, is that the Planning and Zoning Commission is going to have to allow the General Plan Review Committee to kind of convene and then approve the minutes. And I just wanted to kind of call that one out, that we'll be required to do that, because at the meeting on March 17th, we did not have a quorum, so they were unable to approve minutes on that. When the minutes were for the March 3rd as well as the March 17th meeting will be addressed today. And regarding the general plan, as we continue on this process, staff plans on submitting the entire draft version, which strike out and underline, and that will be going out to the Planning and Zoning Commission on the agenda packets on the 23rd of this month for their May meeting. And for today, we will be still accepting comments for the 2015 general plan review. The general plan is on schedule pursuant to the public participation plan approved schedule. We are still scheduling this to go to the 60-day review starting mid-June, end of June. And as we continue along this journey, and we'll open up for any questions the Planning Commission may have.
Mr. Barton, I have a question.
Sure.
Are we going to have hard copies?
Yes.
Pardon?
Yes, you will.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may ask Mr. Davidson to come to the, because
Oh, I
he
was
provided
gonna-
information.
Yeah, he's the
and,
next speaker.
Yeah.
Kevin, would you come up, please?
Is he still a citizen?
Yeah.
Is
It's a little change of venue for me here. Kevin Davidson, Wallapai Tribal Plan Economic Director. At the last meeting on the 17th, I did submit some comments from the Wallapai Tribe. Wallapai Tribe is very concerned about the water usage in the Wallapai Valley and also the Big Sandy Valley. So at the workshop, I submitted basically 3 pages of goals and policies for the workshop committee to consider at that time. The council is really keen on, again, on conserving water. And some of the goals and policies in your packet here are looking at having the Board of Supervisors petition Arizona Department of Water Resources to establish an active management area if you find that the water will be depleted by the projected growth in your general plan in the next 100 years. I have an exact quote, I think, to 1,200 feet or so. That's a more precise goal or policy. In your packet also after that, pages 7, 8, 9, 10, et cetera, are a water supply and demand workshop study that was done back in 2011 for the entire state. There were several pages there, what the Senate bill, I think House Bill 2661 established. And basically, as you look further in, about 7 pages back, is a series of maps there. You'll find that the maps from Mojave County show each of the basins, and those basins that are in tan, not blue, have a deficit spending for the next 10, 30, 50, and 100 years. So the only area that really seems to have a lot of water is the Arizona Strip and maybe the Big Sandy Valley. So, also I have included in your packet is a Arizona Water Atlas study from about 10 years ago. And I've established some, or actually I've included some information there about the findings of water adequacy. The Wallapai Valley has about 300,000 committed demand lots within it for residential development. That's a huge amount of homes that are potential in the valley. You go a little bit further in than that, you'll find there's a few graphics. And what I got here, this is this little map. I'll show it on the board here. This table is a projection of water use.
technical difficulties?
What you have is an estimation of water usage in the Wallapai Valley based upon a 5 million acre foot availability of water to 1,200 feet. I think the USGS now is looking at probably 10 million acre foot of water in the Wallapai Valley to the same depth. And as you see, as the population grows year by year, you can support a certain number of people for up to 100 years. When you get to about that 250,000 person level, you're threatening that 100-year water supply. And given the fact that we have some 300,000 potential lots in the Wallapai Valley, you may be at that point, and especially with Mr. Jim Rhodes doing some work in agricultural. So we probably will be exceeding that demand, not just on houses, but also on agricultural demand as well.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Kevin, in this table that you provided, is that from USGS, or is that from you? Or?
That's a table, and looking at what Louis Vega had done. Basically, this was prepared about 10 years ago by myself for Master Watershed Steward a presentation. What you do is do an Excel spreadsheet where you plug in the per capita usage, and you do that cumulative demand over so many years. And I'll show you a little graphic here at the table, looking at a straight line projection on population growth of about 2% a year. You can see that we're looking at about 1 million acre foot of water over 100 years.
So this table was constructed by you using some of the data from other information that you have
That
collected?
is precise, Mr. Zarmi. There were two sources. I used the census data projections from the Department of Commerce on their growth rates, and also the available information, I think, from the Gillespie study on the Wallapai Valley from the 1970s or so. They were looking at about 5 million acre foot of storage. But the model basically projects the growth of the water usage over the years with the population growth. And you can see this one here looks like a 5% population growth. So we're looking at several million acre foot of water, and you get what I basically told Hal Barton a while back. You have that Malthusian curve of water consumption. This basically compares the two graphics there. You see that a 5% growth rate is a much more aggressive use of water versus a 1 or 2% growth rate over that 100 years. So this is more FYI for the commission and for the workshop and for staff. I know some of the staff have seen me give this presentation before in the past, but maybe it'd be new for some of the new members of the Planning Commission. So basically, to sum it up, the Wallapai Tribe is looking for as many water conservation goals and policies as possible in the plan to preserve the water in the Wallapai Valley and all the other 14 basins in the county. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Were these based on average precipitation levels, speculated average water contributions, or what was your incoming figure?
The one table there, I'll show it again for you. The top table there assumes that the basin is in equilibrium. So if you get, say, 4,000 acre foot of water usage or precipitation and infiltration, you also have that amount of water that will bleed out to the Colorado River through the Mojave Wash. This is about 10 years ago. We have more information now, but even the goal here is to compare the amount. If you do have 4,000 acre foot of extra water you can store and bank, and you can recharge, say, 10% of what you pump out to the houses that comes back in the effluent to the infiltration. When you get to about 250,000 people, it doesn't really matter because you're using so much water per capita. Even the best recharge you can do and the like will still put you at deficit spending. So that's kind of what this table shows. And that was a presentation, again, about 10 years ago. Now, we do have more information now, but I don't think the numbers are that far off from what they were, say, in 05, 06.
Wasn't there a significant reduction in the average household use adopted in the last 3 years, from 225 gallons a day to 175, I believe, or 165?
This number here is based upon the City of Kingman's water use, and they serve people in the city as well as beyond the city in the Butler area. So I think they probably are serving at least 35,000 people or so, and they pump about 9,000 acre foot of water.
Using those
so you run the math on that. Kingman is one of the better per capita uses. I think Bullhead and Havasu are like 0.35 acre foot per capita. A lot of lawns and evapotranspiration and pools in these cities versus what Kingman has. I did say that. I looked at Dolan Springs and the Detroit Valley. They're like a 0.16 per capita there because they haul their water and the like. There's a lot of people hauling water. You don't really waste it when you have to haul your water.
There's also some discussion in the world of water conservation that in the event there was any applicable charge for the water itself, as you know, you're only charged for the delivery charges at the present time. There's no correlation in the cost per gallon. But the speculation is if they were to apply a cost to the water itself, that'd be a natural inhibiting factor. And in terms of conservation, one of the major steps they could make. Have you heard anything similar to that?
I only know what I'm paying on my Kingman water bill, which is quite a bit now, but it used to be back in about 15 years ago. But I do know, yes, there's a elasticity of demand. So what you have if you double the water price, you probably have some reduction of exterior use from your lawn and your trees and your swimming pool. So I'm not unfamiliar with that concept of demand elasticity.
It's coming. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any additional questions of the speaker? Thank you, Kevin.
Well, it's an outstanding report, though.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes.
Kevin, on these wells you show here, when was this data? Is it current, or 5 years ago, 10?
Basically, the data is it goes back to 2008, at the end of the boom. So they were looking at some of the water adequacy reports. I think you're looking at the Water Atlas that came out from 2008, and they were looking at about 40% of the people who were applying for these wells were getting determinations of inadequacy. And that was, again, about 7 years ago.
Thank you.
Okay, we had a question from the audience, I think. Come up to the microphone, please. State your name.
Michael Rhodes. My question was just in regards to the Hualapai Valley. Where exactly does that, is it located, and what were you proposing?
Go ahead.
Basically, we are in the Sacramento Valley. This building is.
Yes.
The hilltop area is the break between Sacramento and the Hualapai Valley. Most of Kingman Falls in the Hualapai Valley. It extends up to Paris Ferry Road, up to Meadview area. It extends from the Grand Wash Cliffs, Music Mountains on the east side, and the Sherbet Mountains on the western side. I think we're looking at about, it's 1,600 square miles of land area in the Hualapai Valley. And basically, my proposal is to have the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors adopt more proactive water conservation policies in their general plan. That's the nutshell of it.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Thank you both. Okay,
There's no motion on this.
no motion on this. Call to the public. Call to the public. We'll close the public comment period. See, any additional announcements, comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Chris, could you elaborate on the zoning ordinance also, so the commission would know where we are at and what we're going to do, and some kind of a heads up? Sorry putting you on a spot.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Zarmi, members of the commission, where we are at is we've actually compiled, for the first time since we have started doing the changes, we've compiled a full document. And instead of just bits and pieces of it. And we are currently going through and, first of all, making sure that we captured all of the amendments that the committee had approved. We've got a few places where we're going to need some clarification. We have also compiled a clean copy that we are going to be reviewing as editors review to make sure two things. One, that every sentence has a noun and a verb and an object, or a subject, a verb, and an object. Basically, we have complete sentences. The sentences make sense. And also, if we refer the reader to another place in the ordinance or a place in state statute, where they are sent is actually a logical place for them to be. So we're still working on some of those aspects, but we plan to give a complete copy, both a struck out and bolded copy as well as a clean copy to the commission next month. At about that same time, we'll be putting it on the website we recommend for at least a 60-day period, so the public can read it and go through it. Call us up and ask us questions, or email us questions if they have a concern, or if they don't understand something. We want to give the commission adequate time to do the same thing, go through the documents, take a look at them, get with us if, first of all, there's any confusion. The last thing we want to do in the ordinance is confuse people, so if you get confused when you're reading it, please let us know, because we'll go back and take a look at the wording and see if we can't make it clearer. Make sure that, as I said, where there is a reference, that we refer people to a logical location. We don't go out sending you looking for a little red wagon and have you find a baseball field or something like that. The other is that the thing says what everybody wants it to say, or at least there's some sort of concurrence as to what it should be saying.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I encourage, the commissioners, to take the time and do a self-study on both general plan and zoning ordinance. There are a lot of material that needs to be covered, and hopefully with those timelines, it would make the discussion when we have the item on the agenda much easier and right to the point. I believe that, that would be, the way to do it. And if any of the commissioners have the time or any comment, please post it or send the email to Hal, so he would be able to provide that comment, so we can, study about it and be ready. So that's going to save us some time when the item is going to be before the commission for, review and hopefully vote. Thank you.
All right. Any additional questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second?
We have a motion to adjourn. Adjourn.
Can we go ahead and call the,
Yes, please, you
General
need to
plan.
convene the
Okay.
committee meeting, general plan committee meeting.
okay. So do we need to call it in order then? Okay, the general plan committee is in order now. We have 1, 2, 3, do we have quorum right now?
Yeah, we have a quorum.
I guess, Hal, go ahead. The only item on the agenda is to
Approve the minutes,
approve the minutes of the
the March 3rd,
March 3rd
as
and,
well as the March 17th.
March 3rd and March 17th.
I move we approve the minutes from the March 3rd, 2015 General Plan Committee meeting.
And March 17th.
You want them both together? And March 17th.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any, okay,
I move we adjourn.
okay.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. That was fast.
Carl missed the whole thing.